Hello guys, this is Ada. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing Stop and Think. I think that'll be the title, to stop and think. I spent many years of my life reacting. Um, I'm a thinker. I'm definitely a critical thinker. But what happens a lot of times when we're put in situations where um, things happen unexpectedly, and if those things happen unexpectedly over and over and over, you begin to be reactive. And what I mean, I'm talking about gaslighting, guys. When you're gaslit over and over, you begin to be a reactor, and you think less. And so when you're reacting, you're not thinking. So just know, guys, a lot of times the tactic of people who they may call narcissists, I call it the enemy. I call it the enemy. You know, because the word tells us your enemy walks among you, seeking whom he may devour. And that enemy is the devil. So the enemy, he worked through people. And oh yeah, there's an issue of the flesh where, people act according to their carnal mind or what have you. But what I've learned through the years, most people who have narcissistic personalities, they feed on reaction. And so that's where we get the term gaslight, because gaslight is something unexpected. You can be, everything could be normal, or what I call quote unquote normal. There's no reason in the world for anything in your safe environment to just pop off. But with a person who has a narcissistic personality, they will do things, they'll make you think things are okay. And then they will do something totally out the blue to gaslight you. And as any normal person would do, you're going to react. You don't have time to respond because your body goes into fight or flight, and so you become reactive. And if we continue this pattern a long time, then we will think very little and react most of the time. So that will put our body in a fight or flight, which causes us sometimes to have what they call post-traumatic stress syndrome, where you become anxious. That's why, we have to guard our hearts, guys, because when you're reacting, you're not thinking. Okay, many years later, I'm learning how to deal with toxic people. And when I say that with humility, because a lot of times people who are toxic have a lot of childhood trauma. Most of the time, that's the root, or some type of complex trauma that they haven't dealt with. So they haven't developed a self, is what we call it in therapy. They haven't developed as a person. So they have all these fragmented pieces. And it almost seems like different personalities can pop out and cause you to be reactive. Because why are you reactive? Because this is not normal. But what I would tell you now, many, many years later, through educating myself, through experience, when you're reacting, you're not thinking. You're in the lower part of that brain called the amygdala. You're not in your frontal lobe, which is where we think and we process. You're in the lower brain, which is called the reptilian brain. And down there, that's your fight, flight, or fright response, or reactivity, if you want to call it. But in order for us to become thinkers, we have to utilize coping skills. And a lot of times, if we remove ourselves from toxic situations, that's not all the time possible. So sometimes we have to learn how to respond in the midst of the mess. And so what I've learned, guys, I began to just evaluate your personal situation, wherever that reactivity is coming from. If you have a narcissist at work, narcissist at home, you may even have one that, you know, may be a mother, you know. And how do you deal with that? You learn to use your coping skills, whatever that is. You know, don't let, once you find out that that's part of that person's character or a character flaw, what you have to do, you have to learn how to protect yourself. Use your coping skills, regulate your emotion. And there's several different things you can do. You can do deep breathing, you know, and that help your body to relax. Because after all that fight and flight, you're in a heightened state continuously, which is not good for the body or the mind. So in order to learn to bring that back down, you have to learn some techniques to calm your body down. Because if you don't calm down, your body will be in a stage where it's waiting for the next attacks, and that might cause some anxiety. So with that being said, guys, some coping skills that I would use would be deep breathing for number one. And there's so much on the internet that can teach you deep breathing techniques. Taking yourself out of situation when you're gaslit, maybe removing yourself instead of reacting. And that teaches your body to just remove yourself, take some deep breaths, and that trains your body not to react. Just as you would when you react, that may look like crying, that may look like fussing or being argumentative with the narcissist or the whatever's triggering you. It may look like various things. It could look like being anxious for a few days after being attacked. But whatever, when you're gaslit, sometimes you just not need to say anything and just remove yourself. Because one thing I know, narcissists feed on people reacting. They feed on pain. They feed on your disappointment. They feed on all this. And if you learn or teach yourself how to respond to these types of situations, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in the home, wherever you are, you will train your body not to respond in a manner that's toxic for you. Because we're in the world, but we're not of the world. So we have to learn how to exist in the world. And so with that being said, guys, once I stop reacting and start getting grounded in who I am as a person and using my intellect, that my God-given intellect, you know, I start thinking of ways to survive the relationship. And not only survive, you can thrive. And sometimes the Lord allows us to be in situations for us to learn how to overcome. Now, guys, I'm not talking about this physical abuse. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the subtle, covert narcissism, gaslighting that nobody sees. And nobody experiences but you, because it's done when nobody's looking. But you can survive. You can thrive. You can overcome. But I want to save you years of what I wish someone would have told me. So with that being said, guys, if this has been helpful, this video has been helpful, please give me a thumbs up. And if you feel someone else can benefit, please share it. I'm trying to make a heart. But anyway, I don't think I succeeded, guys. But anyway, you get the point. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching.